It all started, and it really works around one man, and that's Parker Westbrook. I had met him soon after he got to Little Rock, and he pulled me in, and Charles Witzel, and just a lot of local people here, and a few from out in the state. He decided that we needed to have a luncheon at Trapnell Hall, and we invited 50 people. After lunch, Parker got up. He went around the room, the whole room, 50 people, and introduced each of them. He gave us their name, where they were from, and what their occupation was, without any notes of any kind. He knew exactly who all they were. That was so typical of Parker, and that's why he was so valuable to us in the beginning. But he got to the last person, and he said, "This is my wonderful longtime friend," and I just think so much of her, Peg Holter. And she said, "Well, apparently you don't know me. My name is Peg Smith." The only person that he messed up on for the whole thing. Parker retained about 30 people to be on the first board. And then after that, we began to plan our first annual meeting. And we decided to have it in Hot Springs.
Having the connection between the state office and finally through the creation of the Historic Preservation Alliance, having a connection to an established, accountable, and enthusiastic group of supporters. The proverbial grassroots support, as well as the opportunity to bring together and coalesce a variety of professional perspectives, made the birth of the Preservation Alliance not just, oh, it's a wonderful thing to celebrate, but something that's absolutely essential to preservation coming of age in Arkansas.
I got a call from Charles Witzel, who was a good friend, trying to talk me into being president. And I thought, you gotta be kidding. This is not anything I need. And then I decided maybe I better go to the meeting to make sure I didn't get elected. And when I walked in, I was met at the door by Charles and by Parker Westbrook. And the next thing I knew, I was president of what then was the Historic Preservation Alliance of Arkansas. I just keep thinking back about how much fun I had. If you get into it and you get involved, all of a sudden you find that this is really a lot of fun.
Some of the early highlights that I remember from the start of the Historic Preservation Alliance were the people involved. Parker Westbrook was the founding president, but Dr. Dan Fagg it was Arkansas College at the time, it's become Lyon College in Batesville, did so much in those early years for organization. He loved the Alliance and desperately wanted it to succeed.
My time at Preserve Arkansas was the start of what would become a very satisfying career in historic preservation. I worked at the State Historic Preservation Office and was a director for a number of years. I loved that job and met so many outstanding people and saw such great projects. And yes, there were heartbreaking losses along the way, but all in all, there are many important buildings standing that would not be standing if not for the dedicated preservationists in this state.
Our firm, WR Architects, actually has a long history with Preserve Arkansas and preservation in Central Arkansas. And Charles Witzel, one of the founding members of Witzel Evans Rasco WR, was actually one of the founding members of Preserve Arkansas. My role was kind of continuing the legacy of WR in Preserve Arkansas, and I was very glad to do that.
All the people that were involved in those early days were so willing and eager to share information about the history of the organization and about Arkansas history and places. I always felt so embraced, and how generous all of those people were and are to want to continue this organization and to continue to give their time and their resources to make sure that this thing that is really important to our state continues on.